So predictions. 2012. Some controversial companies that some of which stepped in it in 2011, some of which set up some interesting scenarios. What do you think is going to happen with Netflix in 2012?
So first of all, they hit a new 52-week low today. I think they closed today at $64 a share. I was trying to check the final market cap, but it
So
was
all
a,
upside
it was a
from here?
bad day. What?
All upside from here?
You know, I don't know. We had a piece out today about how the cable companies are considering charging Netflix users for greater web uses, extra fees, and I mean, that's just going to be another blow.
We already know what you're going to say.
No, I mean, the thing I would say about that is, up until some of the decisions they made this year, you really had a sense that Reed and the company understood the customer experience and understood what people wanted from an entertainment experience, and they've stumbled. But the reality is you know, I spent the weekend dealing with Verizon, looking into FiOS service, and then dealing with Comcast about, you know, making the switch over to Verizon, and the conversation was ridiculous on both sides with both companies. You know, you're spending as much as some people spend on a mortgage when you get into these deeper packages.
Comcast is just awesome, though, aren't they?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, so to tell you my experience with Comcast was when I called to tell them the pricing and the competitive package that FiOS was offering, they said, "Are you watching all those premium channels? Maybe you could cut back and get a better price from us." So not exactly a great customer experience. So I think the people at Netflix were on the right path, and I think they can get back to that. And someone has to have a better idea of how to deliver this entertainment experience to people.
You know, I think also, you know, if I were investing, I wouldn't have invested in Netflix. They only signed a one-year deal with Starz. It was apparent that the deal, it was $1 billion deal, and it was apparent that the deal was not going to be something that would be carried through to the future. CBS, ABC, NBC, all of those guys were trying to find their own solution. So Netflix is in a little bit of trouble, whether they want to see it or not.
I think another challenge they have is Netflix sort of has to turn itself into HBO. They need to be having original content you can't get elsewhere, and they need to do that based on people who are paying them $7 or $8 a month. That's not a lot of money to play with until you really scale up.
They have Arrested Development.
They're bringing it back.
Well, they're trying.
Oh, thank God.
I think they're trying, which is cool, but it's not going to be easy.
So what about HP? Meg Whitman. Is this finally the CEO for HP?
It's the first scary CEO for
We're
HP.
going to talk about it for 2 weeks, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, Media Produce asked me back this year, so I'm doing better than your average HP CEO already.
Meg is definitely a great communicator, so I think it was pretty clear on her first earnings call, and I'm sure many of us have spoken to them on the phone, her on the phone in the last couple of months. She just kind of exudes confidence, and of course, strategy and what they actually do is important, but leadership and the company image is important as well. And I think that she, obviously, that, you know, the story is yet to be told, but she at least is, I think, a step in the right direction.
But leadership and all those things are wonderful, but there's a thing that you have to really have to be able to sell something, and it's called a good product. And I'm not necessarily sure that HP has that right now. Sorry to be honest, HP,
Cisco
if you're in the room, if you're a sponsor, don't slash my tires. I drive a red Nissan or something like that. But I think that's one of the big problems. It's not at this point, the leadership has so much catching up to do to actually create a good product that I don't really even know what Meg Whitman can do.
Well, 3PAR's doing okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can agree with Nick on that. I think they actually have a lot of good products and a lot of product categories that are important to enterprise IT. The problem is, you know, as we get to the end of this client-server period, and we get away from this idea that there are different companies that own different layers of enterprise IT, you know, Cisco as the network company, EMC as the storage company, up and down the stack. People are looking to consolidate within their data centers, and they're not looking for companies that are stumbling around, making bad decisions and switching strategies consistently. So even if Meg's right, Meg has a period of time during which she has to straighten things out, and she has to come up with a very clear and articulate strategy for enterprise customers, because they're not going to have 3, 4, 5 big players in those data centers. They're going to want to work with 1 or 2 companies, and HP's been pretty confusing and pretty chaotic for the past year.
Indeed. Greg?
She's kind of stumbling into a mistake that wasn't hers, and that she has to figure out what to do with WebOS now.
Can we even remember whose mistake this was at this point, though?
I don't think
hasn't that
they
been
internally
everybody's
know whose
excuse
mistake
for
that
the
was.
past 10 years? I didn't do it, but I'm just
But she needs to figure out what to do with WebOS, and she has 2 weeks, so what she's saying now. And I think the only answer there is to just cut it or open it up and give it away to a crowd that wants to do something fun with it. But that's a big decision for her, and it's a hard one to make. So
true. Yahoo. We're in the midst of this one now. It might not last till 2012. It might be like media predicts late December.
I saw this great, somebody, I forget who, I think it was Paul Kardrowski that tweeted this today, I forget who it was, but they said, rumor is that Yahoo is going to team up with Yahoo to buy Yahoo, and Yahoo take over on the board of Yahoo. It's kind of essentially what's happening right now.
That's
find
a
about it
good
first
idea.
at
You should call
OMG.
Jerry Yang. He's probably
So
Thought
the
of
news
that.
today was that Alibaba is leading its own potential takeover of the whole company. But
Well,
my
we knew
question,
that
what-
already. I mean, Bloomberg put that out, but we knew that they were already doing that. I saw that. I was like, come on, guys.
Well, what does an Alibaba-led Yahoo look like? Sorry, I'm not supposed to be asking the questions.
No, that's good. You have a prediction on what that looks like? Certainly, it's a lot of fun with Jack Ma at the helm.
Yeah, it is. It would be a fun CEO to cover. I'll say that.
Definitely.
Well, I think the question is not necessarily what does an ex-CEO look like for Yahoo, X or Y, whatever, but what can they do to save themselves? You know, they don't have a mobile strategy. They no longer have a search strategy. They are still the biggest traffic driver for content on the web, but that's it. So what could if any of the people here were on
Just that.
well, but there are other things, but
Right.
that is the main crux. You know, if other people here would take over the company, what would they do differently?
Are there any companies you like, Nick? I mean,
Another company like that?
no, I'm
Any companies
kidding
you
you
like?
because you know.
Yes. There are
That's why I apologized in
Before we-
advance,
but
people.
Before we, I mean, I agree with you, Nick, but I think that earlier this year we heard statistics about the number of folks who still use AOL dial-up. And so, like, before we
That gives hope to everyone.
Well, exactly. So before we rush too far into the future that is sort of predicting the demise of Yahoo, like, there are a lot of folks that still
No,
use
exactly.
AOL dial-up.
Okay, but here's the deal, right? So if you look at Google, Facebook, Yahoo, all these companies, they all have one product, right? That really balances them. That's the string that they hang on. And everything else is just something additionally. So for Apple, I would argue that it's essentially mobile. It's the iPhone, it's iOS. For Facebook, it's social, right? For AOL, it was their customers that paid them money. What does Yahoo have?
Yahoo has the fact that my dad doesn't know how to change his
Right.
his opening browser away from Yahoo.
But
I mean, you